1-800-KARMA. I think we all know what karma is. Occurrences that may or may not be pleasant to people who deserve it. I thought it was all just based on hopes and prayers. That is until I found it. A number or hotline as they call it. 1-800-KARMA. Okay. Scratch that. They found me. I was engaged in my daily routine of getting ready to leave for work when it happened. I got a notification that I had a new email in my inbox. So, since checking my emails was a part of my end-of-the-day routine, I checked it. My boss had been giving me numerous assignments lately, so I guessed it was a new one to add to that. When I checked, however, it was from a sender I didn't recognize. 1-800-KARMA. No website. Just that 1-800-KARMA. I read the subject, which said orientation. Great. Another training from my boss. In sinus. I then began reading through the email to see what my boss wanted me to do. Welcome to 1-800-KARMA, Brandon. The place where you can get karma to take revenge on anyone for you. Who would you like to get back first? I read. Very funny, Josh. I laughed. My co-worker and best friend Josh and I always like to prank each other, so I knew this must have been from George would be great. I chuckled. George was my boss. As bosses normally do, he had given me a truckload of assignments for work. Since I worked in an office as a computer analyst, it mostly had to do with computer stuff. As I turned off my computer for the day, a cold chill ran up my spine. We really need to fix that AC, and when I got home that night, I was still thinking how strange the email and the sender name was. It looked like a phone number rather than an email name. Whatever Josh did, it was kind of cool how he was able to make the sender's name like that. The rest of the night was normal. We had our regular family movie night. My wife Julie, the kids Anne, Crystal and I sat down to watch one of our favorite movies to watch together. Zootopia, a movie we watched almost every time it was Anne's turn to choose the movie we watched. In the part of the movie where Judy and Nick finally find the evil mastermind behind the things that happened in the movie, I remember hearing something odd. Judy the bunny. Police officer seemed to look at me. It's done, she said. It was so odd because I'm all the 100 times I've seen this movie with my wife and kids, I never heard Judy say that in the movie before. As I was getting into bed, I thought about the part of the movie again. It sent a shiver up my spine because of how weird it was. Honey, it's the start of summer. Julie laughed getting into bed. Why are you cold? Don't worry about it. I told her before kissing her and heading off to dreamland. I woke up to scream. It sounded like multiple people were either in excruciating pain or dying. I'd never heard anything like it. Well, maybe not never. I did hear it when Julie gave birth to our first girl Anne. I jumped up off the ground and stood. Why was I on the floor? I don't know, but multiple screams made me worried about my wife. All the adrenaline of being worried made me brush off the fact that I was on the floor. I started running immediately to the screams as fast as I could so that I could get to where they were before anything could happen. These girls are my life. I wasn't going to let anything happen to them. Then, a big fire appeared out of nowhere, right in front of me. It actually looked like a demon. You know Jack from The Incredibles when he becomes that fire. Imagine that, but the size of an adult. I didn't care. I just ran as fast as I could toward it, so I could get to my girls. Nothing, not even the biggest fire creature would stop me. You're next. It shook me. Wake up, baby. I heard Julie scream. I opened my eyes. It was morning and my wife was in front of me. Some nightmare. She chuckled. You okay? Yeah. I nodded. Then, we went downstairs to start the day. Julie made us both coffees and I turned CNN. It was part of our normal morning routine. There was a young woman with a microphone in her hand. She was standing in front of charred remains of something I couldn't see well and yellow police tape. I'm Kelsey Robertson reporting from the scene of a massive fire at the Braxton condominium. She began. Isn't that where your boss and Josh live? Julie asked from the kitchen. Yeah, I nodded. But they're tough. They got out. I changed the channel to a more pleasant show. SpongeBob. I needed that more than I needed the news. Then I thought of the email I got from 1800 Karma. No, this can't be, I thought. I shook my head. They're fine, I reassured myself. That was just junk mail. The rest of the day went on pretty normal. Well, as normal as it could be at least. Complete with a family drive, games when we got back since it was raining, and Red Lobster for dinner. Throughout the day, I couldn't get the news out of my head. Why was it there? Why did it happen? It was a lot harder to reassure myself because it kept making shivers run up my spine. While we were playing in the evening, my cell phone began to ring. It wasn't late, so I wasn't shocked or worried about it. Can you take my turn? I told Julie before getting up. I walked out of the room. Sam, I began. Hi, Sam. My boss assistant, Sally, replied. Just calling to let you know I moved up to be your boss, and that you'll be moving to Josh's former position. A cold chill ran up my spine. No, they had to have moved. Crazy as it seemed, since no one talked about anything. I would have heard something from Josh, especially since he was in the cubicle next to mine. What happened? I asked. They move or something? No, it's actually worse than that. She hesitated. They died last night in the Braxton, as you probably saw on the news. I knew it. I knew something was up with that email. But why did Josh die?